I think part of that is you got to get where you want to go, right? And some of that is not even going to fit, especially in a more difficult market like North Texas, where you're going to quote things and there may not be a great carrier fit for it, or you may be way out of whack on the carriers that you have relationships with. So at that point, it's not really viable, right? I mean, if you're talking about a big agency that has all the markets and they're churning out 300 quotes a month, they probably do truly have a 30 to 35, 40% close rate. But I think our agents, to your point, Minnie, they get stuck in, I'm just going to go after the guys I know I can close. I have this relationship, so I only do 20 quotes a month, but I close 18 of them because I know them. So they have phenomenal close rates. High volume activity is always going to lend to a lower close rate, right? It's just the nature of sales. More activity, you may quote more just through volume.
But you have to keep that up because how long will that last?
And
it's great in the beginning,
right.
But if you're not out there networking, building those relationships, building your brand in the community, it's going to dry up at some point.
What if I'm the agency owner? I'm just going to hire the talent.
So that was actually my question. What if I'm an agency owner? I've hit success 6 months. I'm now out of time. Do I hire a producer or do I hire a CSR?
I would hire a producer.
I would hire a CSR.
I'd hire a CSR.
I would disagree.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Well, okay. So my reasoning in is
I would hire a VA and a producer.
A VA and a producer. Maybe. Or leverage your carrier service centers.
That's where you put in a family member. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Don't work with family.
Why? Because you don't have to pay them? Is that why? No.
We are staying fully compliant to all labor laws.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I never said anything about not paying anybody. Oh my goodness! Except if you're married.
So
to
the reason I would say service is because as the agency owner, nobody's going to be able to do what you do and speak to your clarity and your purpose of your company.
Yeah.
The same way you would. At the same time, a talented producer has its own drawbacks and pain points. In situations. So a seasoned CSR would free me up if I was the producer, the rainmaker, to feel confident that my customers are being taken care of. That way I can go out and make that next batch. That's where I'm at.
Continue fishing.
But I'm curious to hear. I got really animated. Why would you do the producer? Yeah.
I think when you have momentum, one of the most important things is to take the system that you've built and get in the habit of training people to continue forward a system of producing, right? Because at the end of the day, here's what I feel. I've seen a lot of agents that can go build a $2 million book, right? And then they hire CSR and then they get comfortable because the CSR is helping maintain the relationships. But half those clients still call them. And they can't quite give up all those relationships because they don't 100% trust the CSR. What they never do is actually spend the money to put into a producer and get used to turnover, get used to training, and get used to building a sales force. They always rely on themselves. But at the same time, they got into business for freedom. So they are constantly waging this balance between, I want the freedom to take vacation for 3 weeks while my pipeline dies because I have no other producing force. All I have is a CSR. And I get stuck being the 2 million agency because all I'm doing is maintaining. And I write just enough every year getting new relationships to just fix what was falling off. So for me, I would rather invest in sales, get a dynamite VA that can do at least some of the basics of that stuff and keep building the sales force to the point where we're almost breaking if capital is an issue, which for me, probably I'd be pushing it to the red line, right? And then it would be, okay, now let's afford that really good account manager CSR when they have $3 million in premium to actually work with instead of my 1 or 2.
And my logic is actually somewhere between y'all's.
Sounds about right.
Here's why. To me, the CSR first.
Okay.
Because I want to train that next producer in the way that has created the success for the agency. If I am stuck having to maintain the book, I will never be able to actually train them effectively because they're always going to get pulled in. So that ramp up for that producer now instead of it being 6 months, this becomes 6 years just because we never actually get the time to focus.
Yeah.
So if I can get as much of the back end stuff off as possible, then bring in that producer, which by the way, a really killer producer should start making money for themselves relatively quickly.
Yeah.
So the burden on the organization is much lower. So you can bring the CSR, let them get situated. Now I have the time to really get that next killer producer, train them up the way that I want them to be trained, and even possibly hand over some of the higher value relationships that I have with existing clients. So now they're able to take some of that off of me. Then I can go chase more elephants while they go out there and hunt the daily stuff.
And I want to go back to one of the comments you just made, Jessica. You said when you go on vacation, did you say 3 weeks?
Okay.
No. If
Yes,
you said,
I did.
okay, so here's the only thing that I take issue with. It's not a problem with somebody taking a 3-week vacation, but the successful owners and businessmen and women that I have met, they are working even on vacation, especially in the insurance
agree with
industry. They go to a conference or they go to a restaurant and they go there repeatedly. And by the end of it, they know the owner. They're writing their insurance. They're talking about because they can't help it. They literally, that's what they do. And
They're on all the time.
They're on all the time.
The true successful people. We talk about the hustle and grit. It's because people are on all the time.
Well, it's the lifestyle. That's who they are. It's intertwined. So like, yeah, I may go to the Bahamas, but I'm working.
You have your laptop on your lap.
Yeah,
on
laptop
the
or
beach.
relational. I'm building relational. Say, hey, who do you know? And do you know anybody in Dallas? Oh, you do? Oh, okay, cool. What do they do? It's just.
No, that's true.
Talking.
And I do agree with that point. But I'm sure we all have examples of people that are business owners and they were attracted to being a business owner.
Well, I got one funny story though.
Okay, go ahead.
Because
You look
this was
too
it was priceless. So no, I just got into a new community group. Me and my wife just jumped into, and where we went to. Oh, what is it when you go to a bar and they have questions? They ask a bunch of questions. What is that?
Speed dating?
Not speed dating. What do you say? Trivia night. Yeah, they were doing trivia night. They were going to trivia night. And so I just said, look, I am horrible at trivia. Absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, he thought it was charades.
Yeah, charades. I'm over there acting it out. Yeah. No, and I told the group, I says, look, if the topic has nothing to do with cars or insurance, I'm out. I'm telling you right now. The first 2 questions, insurance.
Nice.
And I was
did you get 'em right?
Yes, I got them right.
I hope so.
I contributed to our overall point score. I was like, oh, okay, this is great. I sucked at everything else. I didn't answer a single other one correct. But I was like, hey. And so now they know. They're like, hey, he's the insurance guy.
They didn't know that before.
Well, no, they probably did. But it serves our point, okay?
Oh, no, that was good. That was a worthy rabbit trail.
And occasionally business owners do get to take vacations. I remember I got to take one. It was about a week and a half.
Okay.
It was my honeymoon, and she said if I took my laptop, we would be annulled before we.
Yeah,
No
Yeah.
choice.
Smart.
Choice.
Yeah.
I got the same talking to. It's like they rehearse.
I know, right? They go to class.
It's like they just know you pretty well. Yeah.
So
I have an agency owner that took her 20 years before she took a vacation without her laptop.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, because you have to build to a place where you have staff to do it, right? Like, but you guys are telling me you don't have examples of people that they're like, I'm a business owner. I can make my own decisions. I decided after I opened this business, I'm going to go do this crazy
I'm going to do
thing.
work-life balance.
Yeah. And you're like, do you work 2 days a week? Or, I mean,
They're closed.
no,
I'm kidding.
No, absolutely. There
2
are
days is
there are
close.
those examples of people like that, and what you find is those are the organizations that get capped.
There you go.
they're the stuck, right?
They hit capitulation earlier and
that's
earlier.
kind of feeds into the example of the model, right? Is, hey, I'm just writing enough each year to maintain exactly where I'm at.
And there are some people that fits perfect.
The lifestyle agency, they're really not there
which
for
is
their
great.
work-life balance.
Yeah.
Or for the time value of money to them, it's going, I'd rather have my time.
But the only problem that we're seeing that in today's world is the lifestyle agencies you're starting to see decline because the insatiable appetite of the carriers is increasing. And so there are very few lifestyle agents that are not aligned with a network or not aligned with somebody else that's bringing that organic growth through. Otherwise, they'd be better suited as a producer because they could make a heck of a lot more money
With a whole lot less stress.
with a whole lot of stress. Which, by the way, if you're interested in that model, we have that.
Yes,
give us a call.
Yeah. We
Selfish
have
plug.
something out there for some future producers. But for us to get back on topic, we did actually cover 4 out of the 5.
Okay, let's go to number 5.
Right. So number 5 actually kind of speaks to a lot of what we're talking about here. And that's actually leveraging the right relationships, getting the right coach or mentor behind you. Right?
I thought it was going to be start a podcast, but
Well, you know, I mean,
it's working.
we are a work in progress. Anybody that's seen this over the last 18 months can attest. But really, so if you think about it, so you have the capital, you have the niche, business plan, you've got a killer sales pipeline. But if you don't have that right mentor, that right person helping you, it's like you're having to trailblaze your own path, which some people are just naturally great at. But for a lot of people, myself included, man, if somebody's already stepped on the landmines, knocked down the trees, let me take that path. Right? Because that's a whole heck of a lot easier. So how is it that new agents, what should they be looking for in a mentor? What are the questions they should be asking for the right coaching and that right strategic partnership that's really going to help them get their business to the next level?
I think you certainly can do it on your own. It's just going to take longer and it's going to be harder. So I think the number one question you should ask someone who's been in the industry is, what were your mistakes? So that you don't make the same ones, right? Don't reinvent the wheel. Let's learn from each other. Also support, access, relationships. That's the benefit of being with a network, being with a mentor. They've already walked down the path, so you don't have to create the path that's already been created for you.
Yeah, I think Jordan Peterson was saying, if you're not prepared to be the fool, you can't become the master. Mm-hmm. So having enough humility to go and ask somebody, hey, how did you do this?
That's key. It's being able to ask the questions, being vulnerable enough to go, hey, A, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Or B, this happened. What happened when this happened? What did you do? Just asking those questions, being curious. Mm-hmm. Right. I think genuine curiosity helps a lot in those mentorships, but that's also where a lot of people want to guard their books for fear of.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is I think that there's a level of you need to have coachability to absorb things in the industry, but also the biggest question is you're a brand new business owner, you're completely independent, you're on your own. How do you go find those relationships? There's people that'll knock on doors until somebody opens it. And I think there's a lot of people that are willing to have a conversation once. There's a lot of people that are willing to extend years of wisdom and share something. But a true mentor is somebody that walks beside you as you're walking through something, right? You both are walking into I believe, on good mentors I've had, it's a commitment on both sides to say, I'm helping you here, but I'm coming to the table and I'm doing my homework and I'm executing when we walk away. So how do you forge those mentorships that actually are going to walk beside you? And that's actually one of the reasons why I really love the mastermind group that you're leading right now with our agents is that's kind of working peer-to-peer, right? Elbow to elbow. When I think mentor, sometimes I think, hey, I'm new to the industry, you're seasoned. But I love our mastermind group because that's dedicated agents who have said, I'm going to give this amount of time. But I'd love to get your guys' opinions on how do you find those great mentors? Because I know you guys both have, and I'm sure you have too, had really great mentors in your life that you've been very committed to working with.
For me, the number one thing is being available to be mentored.
Yeah.
Right? Because I can tell you...
When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Exactly. So I had coffee last week with a phenomenal younger gentleman earlier in his career and compared to me. It was one of those things
I thought it was funny.
Just
nobody else laughed. I laughed.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
During the conversation, it became very apparent that he was a coachable person. Mm-hmm. And so once that happens, then I'm able to then shift the conversation and I'll start dropping things out there. Mm-hmm. And if I see that he's picking them up, then that's when all of a sudden, hey, you want to get coffee again in a couple of weeks? Mm-hmm. And then that's when you start that relationship. So I think just being available and open to mentorship is number one. Number two is the follow through. Something you said, doing the homework and doing the work. I know tons of successful business people out there that would love to mentor, love to pass information down. And when we talk, the number one thing that turns them off is I put something out there and it's not taken. They have too much to do with their time to waste dropping nuggets on people that aren't going to use them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say for me, I'm always looking for, or always have been looking for mentors. It's more specifically after the military, because honestly, I felt that I would be wasting. I didn't want to be wasting time, and I didn't want to be. So I was very intentional about whatever I was doing to have somebody that knows me and being known. Not for accolades or things like that, just so realistically, so I don't screw up and do something really stupid. Because I have a tendency to, I don't know if you've met me, but I have a tendency to do wild and crazy things. And so having a much wiser individual there to be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. That's to me what mentors can do, or the fun mentors are like, hey, I did that exact thing. Let me tell you how that ends up. And I was like, oh, I can learn from that guy, but you can learn from everybody. You can learn from somebody who's really smart of how to do things. You can learn from somebody who's really dumb on what not to do. There's always a learning opportunity. And so finding mentors, ideally, that are the alternative, that truly understand and come beside you and that have that time and availability goes a long way.
And then also being curious. That's the other thing.
Did you ever find that you were like afraid to talk to older people?
No. I was the weird one growing up in a family business that at 8 I was trying to sell my parents' peers. I was trying to sell them stuff. Right?
Yeah.
So
why not?
You just got used to that. What that cultivated, though, is I like to learn. So I've never been afraid to ask the stupid question. And so I think, especially as we age, it's weird. As kids love asking questions, right? There's not that fear of whatever.
Yeah.
Then as we start aging, we get less and less inclined to do that. So
That
if
never died for me.
but that's awesome, though. But I mean, think about how many people that has, though.
Yeah.
So if we keep that genuine curiosity,
I think you get disillusioned with things the older you get in reality of life, unfortunately.
But stay curious, because when we stay curious, you keep asking questions.
It's our quote for the day.
You stay curious. You keep learning, and that's when you can be mentored.
Keep moving forward.
To that point, was when I got married, my half of the room, my wife called the AARP section, and her half was a bunch of peers, which was a great dynamic. We actually complete each other, so it's really good. But like I'm constantly looking for older, wiser, that has experience, that has that because it's just able. They have great stories that are hilarious, and they have wisdom, and so it's just asking them. Just say, hey, how did you learn how to do this? Hey, what do you know about this? Hey, have you ever had this issue? And they just love to talk.
And see, don't forget the most important thing. Because of the early dinner, you're able to get home by 8.
Yeah, there you go.
That's key.
That is also, I don't like to socialize as much as you think I'm as good at it, but if that made sense at all.
Yeah.
I like to be at home. 9 o'clock, I'm ready.
Not Chad.
He stays curious.
Stay curious. Stay curious, my friends.
You know what? That will be my quote for the day. Stay curious.